Hello and welcome to everyone. Sorry, had to start 15 minutes late, but had some tech troubles. The machine wasn't getting connected to any of the Wi-Fi's, but I won't waste any further time, and I'll just start taking questions straight away. All of you know what the topic of conversation is today. It's about the squads that were selected for the tour of West Indies and what do they mean for the future. A very interesting comment has already come in by Charan Reddy, and I'll just read that out. He says, I believe there is significant gap in quality between the Ranji Trophy and international test matches. To bridge this gap, it would be beneficial to introduce another level of competition. This could be achieved by organizing a 5-day tournament with 4 or 5 teams. Such an initiative should ensure that quality batsmen face quality bowlers more regularly, leading to much improved performances. I partly agree with what Charan said in the first half of his comment that yes, there's a bridge in terms of quality, because you also have a lot of Ranji teams. There are 38 Ranji teams, and not all teams are good enough. Which is why, while scoring runs in the domestic circuit is important, it's also important to see against which opposition are those runs being scored again. So that is one thing. But what Charan said here, a Duleep Trophy like tournament happens for this reason, because you have 5 teams from the zones: North, South, West, Central, and East zone. In fact, there was a Southeast zone or Southwest zone, if I'm not wrong, last time around as well. So yes, that is there, but again, uh, you have to take a lot of things into context. But I partly agree with this, but I also want to say that a tournament like this is already happening. So there's that. uh, I'll take a few other questions that have come in. Exploit is there. He's said a lot of things. He says, अगर आई टेस्ट ही पैरामीटर रखना है तो एटलीस्ट गो ऑन हंट of complete players and fast track them into the squad. One of the players I'm looking forward to is Priyam Garg, who's going to be an absolute superstar in years to come. He might be one of the few right-handers alongside Sarfraz who will make the cut in an LHB heavy lineup of Jaiswal, Rinku, Rishabh Pant, Washington Sundar, Iswaran, etc. Kind of get why they are trying to do to an extent. They're looking for batters who are complete in both terms of technique and range of shots. Hence, IPL is playing a role in test selections. But they also need to keep in mind it is high time that they should look to create separate pool of players for red ball and white ball too. Hence, I'm not favor of selection of Ruturaj. So Exploit has had his say. He's given he's given a good explanation about what he feels right now, and I sort of agree with what he said about finding batters who are complete both in terms of technique and range of shots, which is why IPL is playing a role. Why IPL is also playing a role is because you also face bowling of higher quality than what you would face in other tournaments in the domestic circuit. That is there. My issue with Ruturaj's selection is that on the basis of your eye tests, you select players for India A, right? And then someone like Abhimanyu Iswaran, who's been in the squad as a backup opener on quite a few times in the last 2 years, and he has also done well for India A. Then you can't drop him without giving him a chance. And Ruturaj, I feel, even though he's done well in the white ball formats, I feel that there's still a problem when it comes to facing the moving ball, especially the left arm pacer and the swing that comes along with it. And I feel I don't mind going to Ruturaj, but not without Abhimanyu Iswaran getting his chances. That is my issue with Ruturaj's selection. Maybe he still does well, but it is still unfair on someone like Abhimanyu Iswaran. That is my problem with it. And essentially, if you think about it, one player, if you look at the first class average of Ruturaj, it's 41. And one of the players that India have dropped in recent times is Surya Kumar Yadav from the test team, who had an average of 44.45, and he was dropped after one innings. So if you had selected someone like Surya Kumar Yadav on the basis of eye test and what all he had done in the other formats, then if you're dropping him on the basis of one innings, that is also not fair. Though you can argue that whether his selection in the first place was fair or not, I felt it was unfair, because Sarfaraz, with the kind of runs that he's making, he deserves a chance. And I feel, uh, see, you can make eye test the basis of selection if the difference in averages, say, is around 4 5, right? Say someone is averaging 50 and someone is averaging 55, or if someone is averaging 40 or 45 or 45, you get what I'm trying to say. But if someone's averaging 79, 80, and scoring runs for now 3 consistent seasons in the Ranji Trophy, you need to award that performance some way or the other, and you also need to tell that player why you are not selecting him. And yes, you could probably say that he's not doing well against pace, but we have had an example of someone like Shreyas Iyer, who we have seen has struggled versus pace and especially the hard nets, but he's still been able to overcome his weaknesses and score runs. And the Indian team did select him in test matches, took him to South Africa, played him in that one-off test in England. So why can't the same treatment be given to Sarfaraz Khan? So that is my question. If you want to drop him, just have the same metric for everyone. Not have different metrics for different players, and at least have a process that you talk about, and not really select teams on the basis of your whims and fancies. That is what I'd say. Uh, Taking on a few other questions that are here. Uh, Mrinal Kanti Mahato says, who is going to open in West Indies, Gill or Jaiswal? I hope Jaiswal is opening and Gill is batting in the middle order. And I've spoken on this topic enough. I feel Gill, with his issues versus the ball coming in, the movement, is better off if he plays in the middle order and not really facing the new ball straight away. Once he's scored runs in the middle order, and he's becoming successful there, maybe then if you see a change in technique, you could try and have him at bat at number 3 or number 4. But ideally, I'd like Jaiswal to open in the tour of West Indies, Ajinkya Rahane to bat at 3, Virat Kohli at 4, and then Shubman Gill at 5. You need to give Shubman Gill that confidence to score runs. Also need to remember, it's not that Virat Kohli straight away started to bat at number 4. He was batting at number 6 and then he moved to number 5. So just have that transition with someone like Shubman Gill, who I feel has his issues, especially with the ball coming in. Chuchan's here. He's one of our very regular viewers. He's saying, Paji, yesterday you made a good point that replacing Pujara with players with below average is not good. But don't you think Ruturaj has game than against top class attacks than the likes of Sarfaraz? I don't have an issue with the personnel here. My issue is with the process. I don't. I also think, given the fact that you selected Ruturaj for the the place of a backup opener, it should have been someone like Abhimanyu Iswaran, who gets his chances before you bring in Ruturaj Gaikwad in the circuit. And if you're going to bat Ruturaj Gaikwad in the middle order, then I don't know if it really makes sense. Then you might as well stick with Suryakumar Yadav, because you've given him just one innings. How can you reject a player on the basis of just one innings, and that too on a difficult pitch in Nagpur? It was by no means an easy batting pitch. Also, guys, before I take the next question, I just want to ask all of you who are watching right now that please like this video, please spread the word, please subscribe to cricket.com. If you like the content that we produce, ask your friends and family who are cricket fanatics, or who love talking about cricket or watching cricket content, to subscribe us on YouTube, follow us on all social media platforms, whether it is Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is Gurkirat S Gill. On Twitter, I am Gurkirat S Gill. On Instagram, I am there as GillyCricket. You can search it. And yeah, please like the video, because that helps us in terms of getting more engagement, beating the algorithms, and sending you out those notification through that YouTube algorithm. So Jaz Ali said, so this selection told us Pujara's 102 versus Bangladesh and Kohli's 180 versus Australia, and selectors choose Kohli's uh, 180. Thoughts if this is fair? Uh, no, I mean, this selection was basically about you know finding at least one replacement for the three batters who've been your 3, 4, 5. Pujara has been dropped once. Kohli hasn't been. Also, Kohli has more body of work in Test cricket than both Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane. Let's have this very clearly. I know his recent form has not been great, and he's really struggling. And his lack of shots is something that I feel is holding him back. And I feel that his spot should also not be a given. But you really can't let go of all the players and then bring in reinforcements, because it is not going to be easy to bat in the West Indies as well. So if any of Kohli or Rahane don't score runs in West Indies and in South Africa, I think that the team should then replace them, because I don't think you can replace everyone in one go. And yes, Why I said that Kohli has more body of work. You look at their averages, overall career averages. You look at their hundreds. Kohli has 14 hundreds outside India. Ajinkya Rahane has 12 touch hundreds in his career. Uh, Pujara has 19 hundreds in his career, and Pujara has not been scoring runs at home either. If Pujara was scoring runs, for that matter, even Kohli hasn't. But right now, overall, you'd say with the way Kohli has scored runs in other formats, you'd probably say that his game is in better health. And yeah, I mean, the way Indian cricket works, Virat Kohli will not get dropped before the likes of Pujara and Rahane are dropped because he's been a bigger player. So that's how Indian cricket has worked. So now Pujara has been phased out. If Rahane doesn't score runs in West Indies, I think both Rahane and Kohli will still go to South Africa because it's a very difficult place to bat. These guys have the experience and the game against pace. But if they don't score runs in South Africa, one of them will be let go for sure. It just comes down to who's done worse because I don't see if both of them retaining their place if they don't score runs and India lose. India losing is also a big factor because India don't make changes until and unless they lose. As long as they are winning, they are okay with whatever is happening and they don't want to make changes even when the chinks in the armor are there for everyone to see. So Pranavanand is here, again a very regular viewer of cricket.com. Pranavanand is asking, is having a LHB when touring Sena countries as advantages anymore with the rise of wobble balls and more right arm bowlers bowling around the wicket? Went up from 20% in 2011 to 60% in 2023. Uh, See the numbers, you've mentioned the numbers correctly, and yes, it has had a part to play. You don't need numbers. You have to see someone like Ishant Sharma troubling someone like Alistair Cook in 2018, and then Bumrah troubling all those left-handers as well. So yes, it has played a part, but it still is advantages because not everyone can still work well with that angle of coming around the wicket. Someone like Pant has still been able to. Someone like Pant actually plays right arm paces better when they're coming around the wicket rather than when they're coming over the wicket because someone like Robinson was able to trouble Pant a lot on that fourth stump line. And when I mention that, it's also important to mention that someone like Jadeja has actually tightened up his game around that fourth stump, that he doesn't really get dismissed, and his numbers have also improved in that. Let me just pull out those numbers. I have it here. I just wanted to mention this. Just give me a moment. Uh, yeah, so someone like Ravindra Jadeja, someone like Ravindra Jadeja before 2018, he actually used to average 20.7 over the wicket, and he wasn't dismissed to right arm paces around the wicket. This is before 2018 in Sena countries, and post 2018 his numbers became better. He was averaging 32.3 over the wicket, and around the wicket he was averaging 56.3. So yes, while like you said about the rise of wobble balls and more right arm bowlers coming around the wicket has sort of helped those right arm bowlers take wickets as well, but it's not still as easy to bowl to a right-handed to bowl to a left-handed batter as opposed to bowling to a right-handed batter. And I've mentioned a few examples for this reason only. But it's an excellent question, Pranav. Playing Vision asking, should Akshar be tried at number 4 in West Indies to need a left-hander? Can be backup to Shreyas batting as well as any batsman, best batsman in BGT and IPL, and providing bowling option need more. I actually like this idea, and this was something that I was going to bring it up. Thankfully, you've brought it up. That for me, in West Indies in ODIs, I would like to have Akshar Patel bat at number 4 with someone like Sanju Samson at 5 and Hardik Pandya at 6, Ravindra Jadeja at 7, and then those 4 bowlers. Because, like you mentioned, he's very good against spin. He's a left-hander. He's also worked on his game versus pace, and yeah, I don't see how Surya Kumar Yadav is going to play ahead of Shreyas Iyer if both of them are fit. So you might as well try and bring in another option who can bowl who can give you a bowling option. You can probably go in with seven bowling options instead of six. And yeah, he's been batting as well as well as he has had in his career. So there are no downsides to it, and I like this idea. How player who's just playing and Ranji other, I mean, okay, I don't see the. Okay, Akshat Mishra says Ajinkya Rahane being the vice captain just baffles me. Yes, he deserves the place due to his innings in the WTC, but I would rather make him fight for the spot, as the major reason why he was dropped was because of his consistency. I would reward Jadeja, who's at least consistent in the team. This is something that I had mentioned yesterday, that you might as well make Ravindra Jadeja the vice captain and reward him for his consistent run, both with the ball and the bat, especially with the bat outside of Asia. And and really give him that give him a reward for it. Making Ajinkya Rahane, who's not even a centrally contracted player and who's just played only one test match after he was dropped, to make the vice captain doesn't really send out a great message. It basically tells you that now he will not have to fight for his spot again. Okay, Subodh Chawans is sending a message to Chant. So some mutual meeting happening in the comment section of the show. Good to see that. Uh, and Chuchant's now saying hi to Subodh. So good. Vansh Kothari says Rahane averages 26. Rohit fitness is a huge issue. Heads will only rule after World Cup. Ranji Trophy is just an employment for domestic cricket. It's no more a route to play for India. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the frustration that Vansh has right now, because this kind of frustration has now been also aired by former cricketers in Wasim Jaffer, Shivats Goswami, and Abhinav Mukund, because you really need to reward people for their performances in the Ranji circuit. You have two wicket keepers in the likes of Akshay Wadkar and Upendra Yadav, who are also not getting India A call-ups. And you have Ishan Kishan as a second backup keeper, who also doesn't have a great record in first-class cricket. So yeah, same sentiments are being echoed by Ejaz Ali, where now I've found his second comment where he said that this selection is such a heartbreak for who is just playing domestic matches. I don't know how you keep them motivated. Yeah, it's definitely a heartbreak, and players do take to their social media and talk about it. Recently, Jalal Saxena also mentioned that it's not been even told to him that why he's not making the squads for the Leap Trophy. So yeah, Kavin Kumar says Field Pujara drop is fair because for sometimes his first inning average is very low. Whenever he had scored some runs, he scored in the second innings and his average dropped to 42 from 48 in recent times. Correct. And test matches are more or less set, more or less set up in the first innings. There's a reason why we have had some criticism for Mohammad Shami as well in Sena countries, because when he's bowling in the first innings, he averages 35, and when it's the first innings of the test match, the average goes up to 40, and that's not good enough for someone who you look as a leader of the bowling attack in absence of Bumrah. How about having a FTP for the A team for a 2 year cycle and shadow it with the main team tools? For example, India A versus England Lions fix the schedule in consultation with the ECB. Nigel, this is something that we will discuss in our series of how to fix Indian cricket in episode 2 and episode 3. So don't worry, we will get to it. Do tune into that episode. And before I take the next question, I'll just remind all of you guys who are watching this show that please hit the like button and subscribe to cricket.com. And if you like the content that we produce, please share it with your friends and family or whosoever you think is a cricket fanatic, or share it on your social media. Ask people to watch our content and you will not be disappointed. And follow us on all our social media platforms as well, whether it's Twitter, where we are there as we are cricket, or on Instagram, where we are cricket.com_official. You can follow me on Twitter as well, on at Gurkirat S Gill. On Instagram, I'm there as GillyCricket. So yeah, please, you are feel free to send me your questions on these two platforms as well in DMs. My DMs are open. But yeah, uh, Utaku OTSC is saying, I believe this is a new person who's watching the show for the very first time. If you're giving Gill a chance at lower order so he can settle in, then wouldn't it be the same for Jaswal? Uh, I mean, if you mean would it be unfair, I don't know, but I don't think. I think one of the reasons why they've still persisted with Gill and gotten into openers is because they try and think that they feel that Gill in the as an opener is not the best place for him, and they probably want to move him to the middle order, which is I feel something should have happened from the start of Sri Lanka series at home in that Mohali test, which was Virat Kohli's 100th test. That Maybe instead of Shreyas Iyer at 5, India could have played Shubman Gill at 5 and seen his development. Cheers World is asking, how long do you think Virat Kohli will get chances as he's not making it count at tests? He's getting starts in all matches but not making it count. I think he retains his spot till the South Africa tour. After that, maybe if he still doesn't score runs, questions will be asking him. Cricket fan is asking, Paji Sanju Samson is selected in ODI team. If he performs well in this West Indies tour, do you think he will get a chance in the ODI World Cup squad? He could be one of the backups, but I believe India will also play Ishan Kishan. So depends upon who does well, and they'll probably then select that player. Exploit says, in addition to your points, I think a different pool of players रखने से काफी सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाते हैं. Players get time to work on their game and get well reserved. I 100% agree. हम यही बात कर रहे थे पिछले शो में कि जो हमने किया है, which is still there. We've started a series how to fix Indian cricket, जिसमें episode 1 में हमने यही बात करी है कि ये जो all format fixation है या obsession है, ये क्यों गलत है and क्या ये जरूरी भी है. तो अभी जो लोग देख रहे हैं, एंड फॉर दोज हु अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, उनको मैं ये बोलना चाहूँगा कि आप प्लीज़ वो शो देखिए. उसमें काफ़ी पॉइंट्स हमने डिस्कस करे हैं. यू लाइक इट. हमने कुछ टेक अवेज भी डाले हैं सोशल मीडिया पे एंड ऑन यूट्यूब. आप प्लीज़ वो चेकआउट करें, एंड वी हैव हैड अ वेरी डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन ऑन दैट. AK says, how can someone with less than 2K runs and 42 first class average selected and has played just one red ball India A tour? His averages in early 40s came last Ranji. Has also scored many hundreds in A tours and 7K runs. Yes, this is something that we have discussed, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Rashil Rachel says, Paji, really hope now the transition does take place. With people like Jaiswal and Gaikwad coming in, and think Ishan being the better batter gets his debut in Tests. I am not so sure that he's better than KS Bharat, because there's nothing to choose between their numbers, first class numbers for India A. Again, I'm not sure, but I think KS Bharat has played more and he's been a part of the team for longer. And what you also need to keep in mind is that he's only played 5 test matches, and all 5 of them have come against Australia on difficult pitches. Pitches in India were also not easy, so maybe we need to be a little patient. I would still have KS Bharat play the test matches in West Indies. If he doesn't score, maybe then look at someone else. Akshat Mishra says, Paji, when do you think India will groom the next test captain, as there is no consistent member either due to the injury, tactics, or form? Rohit age and him being a 3 format really limits his time in tests. I hope that, after the World Cup, Rohit gives up on playing the white ball formats internationally and focuses on test matches, because at this point of time, I feel that his best format is test cricket, because he's outside of Pant, he's been India's best test batter and he's been doing well. So I hope that he focuses on that format and continues to lead India. But anyway, I think till the time the likes of Pant, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Jasprit Bumrah don't get fit, I don't think India have a captain ready. So till the end of South Africa tour, Rohit Sharma stays as captain, and then maybe depending upon how many formats he's playing, what is his own form, what is his own fitness, then the selectors can take a call. Alankar Mishra says, Bharat getting multiple lives in the absence of Pant. Can't we look for any other keeper in the new WTC cycle? Uh, Multiple lives, I'm not so sure. Two innings in WTC, one innings in Ahmedabad, uh, two innings in Indore. That makes it 5. One innings in Delhi, or rather two, where he was in one of them he was dismissed 7, and then one innings in Nagpur. So it's only been 8 Test innings. So might as well give him a few time. Chushan says, Paji, I will ask you to follow the Man United. Avnish is a fan under Eric Ten Hag, ETH. ETH has got them trophies after 7 years in his first season, removed celeb figures, Ronaldo, Maguire out of the team. The only problem with this suggestion is that I don't get enough time to watch all the cricket that is happening. I can't take up another sport and give it all my concentration and watch it with the same intensity that I watch cricket with. I have not been able to watch a lot of tennis, also a sport that I love. So yeah, I don't think that is happening. Kavin Kumar says people think Kohli should be dropped based on his slump of previous years, but still he's best bet against pace and bouncy pitches, and his recent performance is promising. Maybe second win in Tests. I don't know. Maybe it will come. Maybe it will not come. But he's one of the better bets against pace and bounce. I agree, but he needs to start playing those shots behind square of the wicket on the offside. I think that is really restricting him, and that is one of the reasons why he's not scoring as many runs. And the slump of previous years, the slump has actually, the period of those that slump has now really gone big. It's been 4.5 years since he scored a overseas test 100. His last overseas test 100 was in December 2018 in Perth, which was one of his better test 100. So it's not that his criticism is unjustified. The criticism is valid, but at the same time I can understand, like you mentioned, why he's being bagged, and till the tour of South Africa I think he'll stay there. How do you look at reasons like eye test and IPL being a parameter for test selections without giving a chance to Iswaran and Sarfaraz and then making decision? Iswaran was also in Bangladesh when AK, we've already talked about this. I mentioned that this eye test point doesn't really make sense for Ishwaran because he was a part of your India A. If you're going to select players, see, India A is a feeder to India, so why are you selecting players who are not passing your eye test for India A, right? And Ishwaran has done well in India A as well, and he's been a part of your squad. So it doesn't really make sense to drop someone like him without giving him uh, any chances. It just feels unfair. I agree. Paji, South Africa or England, which place is tough for batting in Test cricket? In recent times, it's been South Africa because pitches in England have been flat. Karthik says, Paji, they announced in March they are renovating 5 stadiums for World Cup. No progress has been made on any stadium. They still haven't fixed Hyderabad stadium roof yet after strong winds blew away that roof. Well, that is BCCI. There is no squad yet. By the way, on that, we have a good article by one of our very own, Bastap Parida, on our website about how the BCCI lacks accountability and how them not releasing the schedule so far is going to affect the fans. It's going to make sure that the fans will have to spend a lot more. It's going to hit the tourism sector in India as a whole. And yeah, he's also written one other article about the taxes that are paid by BCCI, and if they are being paid or not. So do follow that content as well. And yes, Karthik, you've rightly mentioned it's disappointing, and yeah, it should have been done so far. Akshad Mishra, Paji, what's your take on Nishan? For me, he lacks the patience of strike rotation and hasn't played many FC in recent year. I get the idea he could be ideal replacement, but just doesn't give the his strike rotation issue is there in ODIs as well. It's there in T20s as well. I believe till the time he doesn't fix that issue, he will not be able to score runs consistently, regardless of which format he plays. Hogger Bloggers is asking if you had the power to decide, name five former cricketers who would be your contenders to become Indian selectors. Interesting. Uh, One name on top of my list is Sanjay Manjrekar for sure. And I don't believe that you should have five selectors. I think three are enough because you are also going to take the opinion of the coach and the captain, right? So that makes it, if you are going to consider those two, you, in a way, you have five people selecting the team. You really don't need those five selectors just to cover all the all the areas. I mean, it could become a case of too many cooks spoiling the broth. If seven people are deciding something, I don't see how all of them, or how most of them can always come together on most issues. I just feel it's too many people. So one is Sanjay Manjrekar for sure, and the other is the other is I'm thinking uh, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about maybe Ajay Jadeja. He's been someone who has a good eye, I feel, and could be that. Uh, yeah, could be that. Also, I've just got a comment from our statsman, which really gives some help. Is that Gaikwad has been averaging 53.2 in first class since 2021. So, yeah, this is an important point which is being brought up by our statsman, that that average, you can look at the 41 average, but in recent times he's done well and he scored runs. So he averages 53.2 in first class since 2021. So maybe that is the more important number than just the overall average of 41. But yeah, coming to this question, maybe Chandrakant Pandit could be another player who could be another person who could be who could be one of the selectors. So Sanjay Manjrekar, Chandrakant Pandit, and maybe Ajay Jadeja. S- this I've just spoken three names from the top of my head. Probably I'll need to think more and uh, then come up with an answer, because these are the names that have come up in recent times. Or maybe you could have one of those former players who actually commentate a lot during these domestic tournaments. You could have one of them being one of the selectors as well, someone like Vivek Razdan, who really covers a lot of domestic cricket. So why not him also, if he shows that if he shows uh, if he shows those credentials. Aradhya Mesri is asking, if not India, which country's management currently impresses you the most in terms of selections and on-field tactical calls? I'll have to say England. England have been pretty good in terms of tactics for quite some time now. Chuchan says, Paji, I feel that it is better to lose badly with the with a team totally filled of youngsters now than them playing alongside big names. That loss will at least take them responsibility and learn your thoughts. It can't work in Indian cricket, because if they lose, then people are going to say, oh, they what good are they? They've lost to West Indies. Uh, it can't work like that, because people in India don't have that patience to even digest a bilateral loss. So, and if they lose, then uh, they are immediately on the back foot or in the beginning of their international career. So you don't want them to be taking that responsibility straight away. You want to ease them into the squad and then see how they do. So I'm not convinced with with this idea, sorry. Aradhya Mesri says, will we see India having different squads for white ball and red ball? Do you see it happening in the years to come, or never with the way Indian cricket works? Uh, I'd like to hope for that day to come soon. And on this topic itself, we have done a video how just recently. I think it was done on Thursday. Yeah, it was done on Thursday, which was how to fix Indian cricket, and where we talked about this fixation of three formats. So I'd suggest you watch that video. It's a very good discussion. I'm sure you like it, and maybe then you can you can have those the answers to those questions, because it doesn't really make sense to answer that question, which is so layered, when we have already done a video on that and done a discussion on that. Okay, guys, last 5 minutes of the show. Uh, Devika God is asking, is Ruturaj, Sanju, Umran are in the scheme of things for ODI World Cup, or are they just filling space in place of Shreyas, Bumrah, and Pant? Uh, I think Sanju, more importantly, is a backup for Rahul right now, because I don't see Rishabh Pant getting fit. Ruturaj might be a backup opener. I don't know. Maybe they decide between him and Ishan Kishan. And Umran, yeah, if Bumrah gets fit, he might lose his place. But yeah, in between how India were playing him, it looked like that India wanted to play him for the differential that he'll create with his pace. So very difficult to say right now if he's just a backup or he's actually in the scheme of things. But the other two are definitely backups. And yeah, once Shreyas is back, I'm not sure if Ruturaj is directly competing with Shreyas for that spot. I believe he's more of an backup opener, because there's already someone like Surya Kumar Yadav there, who India could look to take that role of number four, who plays spin well. Though I'd personally want India to try Akshar Patel at number four in the ODIs in West Indies. Ijaz Ali says, where is World Cup schedule? Like, I am feeling massive ticket problem incoming with this delay in scheduling. Let's hope not. Let's hope for the sake of fans it doesn't happen. Nigel Laz is asking, can we see a debut for Ishan Kishan in the first West Indies team? Not the best selection for VK, but I'll have to live with it. I'm not in case of that. I'm not in favor of that. I'd really actually give KS Bharat two more matches and see what he does. Uh, Rashil says, saw on CricBuzz that KL is unlikely to feature in Asia Cup. Who do you think, if not for KL, will be our wicketkeeper in the World Cup? I feel Ishan makes it provided it because he provides a lefty option. I'm not sure of this because I don't think Ishan Kishan batting in the middle order is the best call for him personally as a batter. I personally prefer someone like Sanju Samson in the mix, but I feel that India could go in with Ishan Kishan in the middle order, and let's hope that Ishan Kishan is well prepared for that role because his strike rotation issues are something which make me doubt, make me make me doubtful of his success in that role. Maybe he'll do well, maybe he doesn't, but he'll need a lot more games in that position at number four, number five, if KL is not there. Cricket fans asking the same question. I've already answered this. Uh, Akshat Mishra says, I feel that India's biggest problem is mentality. We are afraid to lose in order to gain bigger reward. Whenever we get a setback, we just revert back to where it was. Classic could be example could be T20 World Cup. That is true. It's been the case with this management for sure, and it's something that we have discussed at length. This is something that we discussed in the episode that we did in the series of how to fix Indian cricket. So please do watch that, and yes, you should look at that. Exploit says Ajit Agarkar's ball knowledge is top notch. I agree. I mean, it's something that I missed, and yeah, I wouldn't have minded him being being one of the selectors. Neutral hacks with Vasant says Wasim Jaffer could be. I don't mind. Again, he's been a coach in domestic cricket. He does follow a lot of domestic cricket, so yeah, he also could be one of those players. Nigel Diaz is saying, is the recent Indian Express interview of Ashwin a major reason he wasn't given Test captaincy? As good as a player, Rahane is very nice man manager, but going back seems aggressive. It does, and yeah. See, if I say yes, it would be giving rise to conspiracy theories. So yeah, I mean, we don't have anything substantial. So if so, very difficult to say if it is one of the cases or not. But yeah, you never know what's happening because communication is not something that happens in BCCI in recent times. So, do you think Unadkat will play against West Indies in Test series? I would love to see him with the Red Dukes in West Indies. I think he should. In the absence of Shami, I believe the three paces that India should play with should be Siraj, Unadkat, and Shardul, with Ashwin and Jadeja both playing in the 11. Pranav Anand says, Paji, before the personal thing, there should be a change in the criteria for selecting them, isn't it? Some people are selecting teams for all formats and also the age. 5 years after criteria, retirement criteria is bad. I agree. I agree. I think that criteria needs to change. I believe you also don't need to have five people. So, yeah, I agree with that. Akshat Mishra says three format players also isn't feasible moving forward, even if you're good due to ample amount of cricket being played and injury being a part of the game. Protecting players in key tournaments would be more important. Yes, it's again something that we had discussed in the in the first episode that we did for the series of how to fix Indian cricket. Anyway, I'll be taking last few comments because I have to go now. I'd just like to say those who are watching that please like the video, please subscribe to cricket.com. If you like the content that we produce, ask others who are cricket fanatics to follow us and like us and take part in all the conversations because we also believe in taking your questions, taking your feedback, taking your comments. We also have a series by the name of Ask CDC wherein you can send in your questions and and in those questions you can ask about a lot of statistics that you will not find easily. So yeah, please take advantage of all the uh, of all the new series that we are opening up, and of all the opportunities that we are giving you guys to ask us those questions. So yeah, uh, Sagar Chandra says start for Eastern, but if not Eastern, who should start between Gaikwad and Jaiswal, and where do we see that player will play? I think we should start with Gaikwad. Oh, sorry, Jaiswal as an opener because he also gives you that left-handed option. Have have Rahane at three, Virat Kohli at four, and Shubman Gill at five. Uh, Praveen's asking, Paji, is it early to bring Pant for World Cup? He should be making comeback in domestic, then in South Africa Test series. I think he should come back when he's fit to play. Don't think that there's any need to rush him, because a player's life is at stake, and just to try and fit him for the World Cup, uh, I don't think that there's a need to risk him and play the World Cup without him. I mean, India played the T20 World Cup without Bumrah, right? So they might as well play the ODI World Cup without Pant if he's not fit, because you can't risk players, otherwise his whole career can be in jeopardy. A says, Paji, what's your take on Ashwin's comment on his YT about horses for courses selection post MS era and not having a core? One of the reasons for drought of trophies. I've not followed his this video of his, and I've not heard his comment completely. So I'm not sure what was the exact context and what did he exactly say for me to comment. Sorry. Exploit says, you missed my Ishan Kishan's comment. Yes, because I have to take questions of other people as well who are watching this show. Anyway, on this note, it's been a good 40 minutes. I am cutting down the duration of this show a little today, because I have to leave for somewhere. I have some other commitment, but yes, we'll be back soon, very soon, for this for with this series of Deep Point with Gilly Cricket, with maybe next Friday. Also, on Monday or Tuesday, we will announce this soon. We will be doing the second episode of How to Fix Indian Cricket. Please do join it. It's going to be a conversation with Somesh and our very own Crick Crazy Nicks. We may have another guest. We may not have another guest. That is something that we have not decided on yet. So yeah, please do join in, and once again, ask people to follow us, ask people to subscribe to our channel and to our content. Follow us on social media. On Twitter, we are there as we are cricket. On Instagram, we are cricket.com _ official. Facebook also, we are there. You can follow me on Twitter on Gurkirat S Gill. On Instagram, I'm there as Gilly Cricket. And yeah, pretty much you know the area, the platforms where you can follow me or cricket.com and send questions. And just one update that we I have for all of you is that Zimbabwe have won the game versus West Indies, which was happening in the World Cup qualifiers. This means that there's a very good chance that now Zimbabwe qualifies for the World Cup, and this is a huge blow to West Indies for their chances in the World Cup qualifiers. And for those who have been watching any cricket in this World Cup qualifiers, would know that how passionate and crazy is the crowd in Zimbabwe where the matches are happening, and they must be having a party right now. I missed out on those visuals, but any of you who are interested, please do watch them, because that crowd in Zimbabwe is something else. You would feel like wanting to be there and supporting that Zimbabwe team. So yeah, and Ijaz Ali says, "What is the perfect or suitable criteria to judge players in different formats? Which stat to look?" Very difficult question to answer, and again, it will have to. I'll end up extending the. I'll end up extending the duration of this video, and right now I can't. So sorry, but I'll take another comment of yours, which is, yeah, I've been following it. Raza, beautiful player and an amazing crowd. Yes, amazing crowd for sure. And on that note, I'll end the show. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a great show. I love taking in your questions, and please do keep coming in huge numbers on all our videos, and keep sending in your comments and questions. We look forward to it dearly. Thank you so much. Bye bye.